60 minutes here on News Night. Transport fares set to go up again. We're here from the GPRTU with price of fuel also set to hit the roof once more on Thursday. We have the latest. Plus, the JoyNews Living Standard series is tonight focusing on the increase in price of bread.
Just 1 CD. This is a 2 CDs, 3 CDs.
Formerly, I buy like 4 or 5, but now I reduce it to 2.
And tonight, transport fares are set to go up again. The Ghana Private Roads Transport Union say it has become inevitable. Transport fares had gone up last month, triggering another rise in the rate of inflation. We'll hear from the GPRTU shortly. The first floor prices will also go up again this Thursday. My colleague George Afe is in the studio with me with details on that. George, do we know by how much the floor price will go up?
Well, we can work with some range or percentage that we are looking at. And Evans, let me just backtrack and explain a little bit. So we're operating a current structure where the oil marketing companies are allowed to review their prices every 2 weeks. I mean, based on their cost of bringing in these products, inflation, and all those, stability and all the rest. So every 2 weeks they do that. Now, there's supposed to be another increment from 15th of every month they do the review. Now, what is happening right now is that even though the price of crude on the international market has been fairly stable, we bring in finished petroleum products from Rotterdam. And looking at what is happening in Russia and Ukraine, we are competing with the same European countries to bring in these products. So there are supply challenges, and that has pushed the prices up. So if these oil marketing or the bulk distributors are bringing in these products, someone has to pay for that hike in cost. And that is why if you look at their price model or indicators for the next 2 weeks, if you should look at petrol, it's currently being sold at 10 Ghana cedis, 10 pesos, if I'm right, cutting across most of the oil marketing companies. You're supposed to see about 13% hike per liter from this Thursday going forward. Diesel is also around 12 Ghana cedis, 20 pesos or so. You're supposed to see about 11% hike per liter.
On Thursday?
On that.
On Thursday?
From Thursday. From 15th. So some may adjust on Thursday, some may adjust on Friday. Evans, we have about 150 oil marketing companies in Ghana. So you want to focus on sometimes the top 5, the top 3, Shell and Total. But these are the companies out there. So it might take time for the revision to hit you as a consumer.
So the petrol is just above 10 CD per liter now?
It's 10 Ghana cedis, 10 pesos.
Okay, so you're saying that on Thursday, this is possibly going to go to inch closer to 11?
Possibly, if my maths are right. They're looking at 13% per liter.
Okay.
Now, Evans, what is happening right now? That there's competition in the market. Now, the margins are tight, little profit. So the more volumes that you sell as an oil marketing company, you might be making some profit. So they have also found a way that, listen, it's not just about passing on the cost to consumers, because some are actually losing out. There's data to suggest that anytime that fuel price goes up from the first 2 weeks, consumption drops for most of these oil marketing companies, because you, Evans, you want to look at the cars that you have, should you go ahead and all those things. So some are actually going back to these bulk distributors to kind of engage them, whether they can drop their prices a little bit. So we might not see all of them working with the upper band of the 13% per liter. Some might do 3%, some might do 5%, some might do 6%.
And they may take a hit on their margin.
Yeah, and may take. But if you are not able, so now it's about the more volumes you sell. So if you can price a little bit at the medium price and convince you and others to drive to my service station, then I can make profit. So that is what is happening, Evans. And all other things being equal, petrol is going to do about 13% per liter, and diesel about 11% per liter. And that should start from this Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
into the
Sunday.
weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, George, thank you very much for that update on the fuel prices. And just to think that in December, a liter of petrol was being sold for 6 CD 80 pesos. Today we are talking about over 10 CDs, and it's set to go up even further on Thursday. Well, as we're now learning tonight, transport fares are about to go up once more. The last time it went up by 20%. And this, if I'm not mistaken, just last month. I want to speak to the spokesperson of the GPRTU, Abbas Imoro. Mr. Abbas Imoro, thank you for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you for calling.
From what I understand, you are preparing now, almost inevitably, to increase transport fares. Can you confirm that?
We are currently sensitizing the public. That is what we are doing.
When you say sensitizing the public, what exactly does that mean? I think trying to get us prepared for the increase.
Towards the future ahead of us.
In what sense?
Each time we come up with an upward adjustment, you see what happens. The general public, our clients, the passengers, descend on us as if we do that on our own or for no apparent reason. And this time around, management of GPRT has advised we sensitize the public against the upcoming, the rate at which fuel prices are climbing up each time the windows are open. So we want to prepare their mind. If something is being done, if we cannot stabilize the price somewhere and it hits the 10% threshold, we shall not hesitate to come up with another upward adjustment. Maybe this will be the shortest distance we are going to experience. And we know if we don't do this, we won't have it easy. Hence, the sensitization program will just embark on.
Okay, so bottom line, you are preparing our minds for the impending increase.
Yes, exactly. What we are doing now.
Okay, and I know you've been discussing this. How much increase are we talking about? Are we likely to see in the future?
We must be fair to ourselves. You see, there are so many things which comes to the percentages we've been coming up with. And the last one, we considered so many things. By the time we hit 10% now, we have to revisit certain elements, increase rates. At times some of our people get loans from the bank, the lending rates, DVLA documentation, if there has been any changes, local government documentations, and then some of the permits we take from the assembly. If there has been any increment, we have to consider all these things. Spare parts prices, if there has been some changes, lubricants, etc. There are so many things we factor before coming out with the upward adjustment percentages. So we have to reconsider all these things because our industry is falling and we are trying to make sure we pick it up. Else, there will be a time nobody will get into the industry. Because I wouldn't want to see, or I would say there's a group of people who want to learn the profession who doesn't make any profit. I don't think there's any.
Is it safe to say then that as we speak tonight, you haven't decided yet how much increase you want to impose on fares?
No, I won't be in the position today.
Okay.
Since we haven't gotten there to research into all these things to make sure, oh yes, spare parts have been changed, lubricants have not been increased, all those things that we considered, if they haven't changed, then we shall dwell only on the fourth.
So
that won't be much more higher, like considering some of the items I just mentioned, if there has been some significant changes in it, then of course we consider all those things to form as on the current percentage that we have to come up with.
When are you looking at now in terms of the increase? Next week, next 2 weeks?
We wouldn't want to hesitate to preempt, but we are waiting patiently. If the fuel price hits the 10% threshold, we shall not hesitate to come out.
So what you're saying is that definitely you're expecting an increase. What you're doing now, preparing our minds for it, how much you are yet to determine, when exactly you are yet to determine.
Yes, that's exactly what you are saying.
That's Imor Abbas, and he speaks for the Ghana Private Road Transport Union there. And as you know, the cost of living has become one major topic across the board in homes across the country. One, primarily because of the increased prices of fuel, which then has a knock-on effect on the price of fares, which then affect everything else, goods and services. One commodity that has been heavily, badly affected by the increasing fares. The last time it went up, fares went up by 20%. As for fuel, it goes up almost every 2 weeks, with the latest due on Thursday. That commodity is bread. Now, the least you can spend on a loaf, from what we understand now, is 10 cedis. Bread dealers are predicting higher prices in the coming months. But Macy Thompson has more in our Joy News Living Standard series.
I am sacrificing my profits for my workers. If you didn't increase their salary, they will run away.
1 cedi. This is a 2 cedis, 3 cedis.
Formerly, I buy like 4 or 5, but now I reduce it to 2.
Meet businesswoman and baker, Mareji. She's getting ready to prepare bread for her customers.
Doing buns bread. The pots, it takes 120 kilos. If it's big, maybe 100 loaves. Small size, maybe 200 loaves of bread.
She has built a bread factory, restaurant, and real estate with her astute business sense. But the bread business has changed in the last 2 years. Things have become unaffordable, forcing her to make drastic changes. Mareji has reduced production and raised bread prices. She believes it is the only way she can ensure her company's survival in these difficult economic times.
Next month, we will increase the price to go to maybe 14 cedis. Some are selling 20 cedis, 18 cedis. It's true. But my bread is affordable.
Her production costs continue to rise. According to her, the cost of all ingredients for making bread has skyrocketed. She has reduced production from 6,000 loaves per day to approximately 4,000 loaves per day. Aside from that, rising LPG and fuel prices are pinching hard.
Before bread will come out, it's not easy. Especially gas that we used to bake. It's not easy. Price is high. For they say 50 kilos, but now they reduce the weights. When you weigh, you get maybe 46, 47 kilos. It's not up to 50. And the flour too the same. And the sugar too the same. The sugar too the same. They reduce the weights. It's not up to 50 kilos anymore.
Mareji claimed she has sacrificed her profit to pay her workers as well as provide accommodation and food.
Last month I increased 5% for their salary, 5%. If you didn't increase their salary, they will run away. So the profit that we get, we used to pay for the workers so that if you didn't get anything to pay, when I get small to pay my electricity and blah, 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 that's all. I am sacrificing my profits for my workers.
Alex has worked with her for 7 years and can attest to this.
The
economy is hard. Things were initially difficult, but with the help of my madam, things are better. I'm able to eat and have a place to lay my head.
Changes in the bakery are impacting bread consumers. Indeed, the Ghana Statistical Service reports that the price of bread increased by 41.3% between May 2021 and May 2022. Stephen Inti, a phone accessories dealer at Circle, loves consuming bread. He, however, says lately he cannot afford it.
Bread is now expensive. It didn't used to be so. Now I buy one at 2 cedis. When I buy 3, 6 cedis. But previously, I will pay 3 cedis.
Another bread lover, Richard, has moved from buying 5 loaves a week because prices have increased.
Formerly, we buy it 7 cedis, but now it's around 15 cedis, 10 cedis, and upwards. Formerly, I buy like 4, 5, but now I reduce it to 2 or 1.
Bread sellers are equally frustrated. They have increased their prices to accommodate the cost of production, but consumers are not happy. Atefua says many of them turn away because she no longer sells at 1 cedi.
You enjoy 1 cedi. This is 2 cedis, 3 cedis. 1 cedi that I am from.
I don't sell at 1 cedi any longer. It is now 2 cedis and above. These days, when we get our supply, we have to increase the prices to make profit.
Now turn away 1 million. Total 1 million will be 200.
Another bread seller, Ekwe Friye, has similar concerns. She has lost many clients because she needed to increase the price to survive.
We don't sell 5
cedis anymore. Many come and they want to buy at 5 cedis, but they forget the price of flour has gone up.
So why don't you share your own bread experience with me? Bread is one of the things that we all can't live without. So let me hear from you. 055-11-11997. Top story this hour. Transport fares set to go up. Fuel prices too will go up on Thursday. GPRT says they began sensitizing the public ahead of any increase in fares that they're yet now to determine by how much and when. It's a live here on News Night. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. Now to the Accra Tema motorway, where tonight many more of you heading back home from work are stuck in traffic. And we're now hearing from many of you. You're now pushing for engineers of the Ghana Highways Authority to work overnight to complete the work, the rehabilitation works happening on that stretch faster. Some of you who got in touch with us, you've been asking, raising the concerns about the indiscipline too by some drivers that has led to making this situation on that stretch even worse than it already is.
Drivers who are not so disciplined on the road drive on the shoulders of the road as if they are the only people in hurry. And then they create the mess because they come, as they drive on the shoulders, they come ahead of those who are in the lane and cross them. And then you stay in the lane for more than an hour before you get out of that stretch. So if they do that, there will be some orderliness.
It is inconveniencing Ghanaians, and I think it's a good thing they are doing, but they should do it in the night because the traffic here is too much. It's too much. Since 4 o'clock, 4 a.m. at dawn, there is traffic as at this time. It's inconveniencing Ghanaians. So we beg our leaders, they should do this thing at night.
The traffic is too much. The government should do something for us.
How long have you been in traffic?
Oh, for about an hour. Yesterday, I was in traffic for 5 hours. I was in the traffic for 5 solid hours.
I've been using this road for a long time, but I've never experienced it before. I don't know what is happening ahead of us.
How long have you spent in traffic today?
Almost 1 hour.
Well, in an earlier interview with JoyNews, supervising engineer at the project site with the Ghana Highways Authority, Aaron Nanam Ponsa, said enough personnel were available to run a shift system throughout the night.
The whole motorway is a concrete, but because of the nature of this area, that's why they came up with this an asphalt. So now we are going to use concrete deck to for the slab. So bitumen or an asphalt here.
So how many men have you deployed to ensure that you meet the timelines?
We have about 30 men.
30 men?
Yeah.
For a particular shift?
No, we are going to run 30 days, that is from now up to 5 o'clock.
What are you doing to ensure that there's public safety on this road as you are rehabilitating it?
Yeah, as we can see, we have 2 groups. I'm in charge of the main work here. Then the second one, people who are in charge of safety. So safety, as you can see, we are ensuring that everybody over here, everybody is safe here. And those in charge of safety are also doing their job. And you can see that, yes, there's traffic, but it is flowing. It's not a static traffic, but it is really flowing.
So how long are we expected to go through this heavy traffic on the stretch?
We are praying. We are now in the rainy season, but we have assured the whole country that by next week, by this time, we should be open to traffic.
So the question remains about the overnight work. So let the traffic flow during the day and stay overnight. Start work rather in the evening. It's what the commuters are asking for. With what we're also hearing tonight about indiscipline now, with people now driving on the shoulders and trying to cross the orderly moving traffic. What's the police doing about this? The police assured of tight security to deal with the reckless driving on the road and check crime. Here's the Director of Operations, ACP Henry Otu, assuring that the police will be there to manage this.
We deploy our men here for traffic control purposes, and as you see, the contractors are on the work, and since we started the work, the traffic has been so tensed. We'll be able to manage it and pull in from Accra direction towards Tema, and also from Tema towards Accra. It's been quite hectic, but we are managing because we are going to do this 24/7. It's going to take the whole of 24 hours. We'll be here managing the traffic.
So that's the police's view on this. So really, can this work be done overnight, as the workers, the commuters are asking for? Let's speak to Engineer Abdullahi Mahama with some perspectives on this. Mr. Mahama, thank you for time here on Newsnight.
Thank you very much.
Considering the motorway, it's like arguably the busiest road in this country.
Yes.
Can and should the work have happened overnight instead of during the day?
I'll say a good evening to your cherished viewers and listeners on your most cherished station. What I heard people saying that they should work overnight or work in the night and allow traffic to flow during the day. It is not like a gravel work where you are doing a road that you have not actually truncated movement across a certain spot. Now, what has happened is that, the Ghana Highway Authority mostly do their routine surveillance. And so, like when they notice that the bridge had some defect, it was only proper that they carry out an immediate remedial works on it. When you are dealing with a culvert like this is like a bridge, a short span bridge, and the only thing you can do with the constraints around the motorway is to just divert the traffic, maybe I say 50 meters like they have done, to the approach of the bridge, and you go to the median, and then you force the other inbound traffic to have a one lane, and then you exit back onto your carriageway. On the right-hand side, there's nothing you can do there because that is like a valley area where you have the stream. Unless, of course, the motors have requested for a Bailey bridge to be constructed, and that would really be expensive. And then assessing the defect, the integrity of the bridge, they could have done maybe a Bailey bridge on the right-hand side and finished before they will attend to the defect that has been witnessed on the bridge. And the night work, whether they are working in the night or not, nobody can traverse that spot. What they do that I know is that fabrication of iron rods that are ongoing are done both day and night. But the concrete works, which are yet to be done, will be done even like a one time. So whatever they are doing there now is just in line, just that it's bringing a lot of income. Like I said, the motorway it's already the most trafficked road in Ghana. In fact, it was about 93,000 vehicles per day in both directions. And now, that was somewhere like 2016, there about 2017. And so you would have expected that it would have increased tremendously by the volume of traffic we are witnessing.
Yeah, I mean, so what you're saying is that the request demands for the work to be done overnight. It's not something that is technically feasible. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So what they are doing now,
and even if they did it, it won't solve the problem during the day.
You cannot go across it because they need to finish. And you see, the engineers have actually used the most advanced technology in terms of they're not going to go by the 28 days concrete curing strength. They're adding all the additives so that immediately the concrete is cast, within a matter of 5, 6, 7 days, the road will be open to the traffic because they know the essence of the problem that we encounter when we don't quickly finish the bridge on time. You know, it was a metal steel, it was a steel bridge. I think in 2014 it was repaired, and because they knew that government had been planning to expand the motorway to a 4-lane, whatever, they decided to do remedial the work so that within the time that the government would have started, it would have been taken off. But once the defect have been witnessed, you know, the concrete there is more than 55 to 60 years.
Yeah.
And the thickness of the concrete is about 25 to 30 mm thick. And so the road has, the culverts have actually have done well.
Yeah,
gone beyond
they serve as well. And
streamlined
I guess then for the many who are still in traffic there, they just simply, from what you're saying, they just simply will have to bear with the engineers and the workers there to finish.
Unfortunately, the engineers have put in all measures to ensure that that work is done and done well, so that the motorists would have access to the road immediately.
Okay, Mr. Mama, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you joined us. Great clarity for many who are still in traffic. So there you have it. It's just technically not feasible, and if it was feasible, it won't solve the problem with the traffic during the day. Okay, so for those of you, yesterday as we started doing with our traffic watch, now there are alternative routes that you can use. So again, MFA Ellie, traffic watch with MFA Ellie, she's been trying to find routes for you tonight. Yesterday she found a route that worked. What did she find today? MFA, what did you find today? And did you manage? Were you as successful as last night in finding a route home that was not traffic prone around that area?
Not exactly, but compared to yesterday, my experience on the route today was that pleasant. So when
we have a terrible line to you, MFA. Let's get you on a better line so we can hear you out on this. And if you are on that stretch tonight, share your experience with us. Is it better tonight than we had yesterday? And did you find out routes that worked for you? MFA, yes.
Yeah, so Evans, the experience on the road today hasn't been that pleasant like yesterday. Today I had to join the traffic from the Umanye house, which is just after the General Hospital. And then it progresses until you get to somewhere, the Kofi Annan Junction, which links you to the Lekma stretch through to Spintex Road. I've had to use that option today because my turn on the right to use the Teshimami wasn't successful, because at a point, just before you get to the Teshi Presby SHS, the road was blocked. I think there were traffic issues on that stretch, and so you see a number of vehicles that had to do U-turn and return to the main road. So then I had to do same and join at Teshi La Scala, and then continue through the Lekma stretch through to Manet, and then join Spinters Road. From Spinters Road, it's been quite slow, very slow. And so a journey that would have taken me relatively, say, 15 minutes, I had to do almost 30 to 35 minutes. And so I could just say that probably because a lot more people are getting wind of the traffic situation on the motorway, they are equally looking for alternative routes. And that's how come probably traffic is building up on that stretch. So that's been my experience. In fact, I am here to get home. I'm here to exit the Spinter stretch because it hasn't been that smooth as it was yesterday when I had to use the Teshi stretch instead of going through the Spinter stretch.
Okay, so what you're saying is that today there are no routes that you can find, that would aid your cause?
Alternatively, for those of us heading to Tema, the only option you have at the moment is still either the beach road, you go through the Teshi estate, emerge at the barrier, which is the Nungwa barrier. Then you continue through the beach road on your left, through to motorway. The Tema Community 3.
But I thought there's some construction on that stretch too, is it not? Or that has now been
Yes, as for the traffic, you can't avoid it, particularly on the Teshi stretch.
In fact,
there are two major.
I'm talking about the construction. I understand there may be some construction on that stretch too. The beach road.
Exactly. So in the Teshi community itself, there's a major bridge that was washed away as a result of flooding there about 3 weeks ago. That rehabilitation work is still ongoing, so a section of that road has been blocked. You can't drive through the straight course from the Kofi Annan Junction all through to, let's say, Teshi First traffic light. You're unable to do that. You would have to find diversions, either go through the Teshi left or right estate or the local town itself to be able to join the road again well after A Life Junction. And then from there heading towards Nungwa barrier, that stretch is also very heavy with traffic. But then, like I said, you really don't have option. You can just exercise some patience and then still stay through the traffic gradually to be able to make it. Alternatively, like what I had to do today, you go through the Lekma stretch, emerge at Manek Junction, and then you continue through Spinters Road and exit the Spinters Road. Either you go through, what's the name? Is it whether you are heading towards Ashama, use the tunnel and then join through Tema, or you go through Sakmono Village and join the beach road and head to Tema Community 3 and go to whichever other community you are heading to. These are the options available for anyone heading towards Tema and probably assignment.
Okay, thank you very much, MFR. That's our traffic watch tonight with MFR on that stretch as you attempt to avoid the chaos now on the Tema Accra motorway with the rehabilitation happening there. That place is choked as usual, as many of you are trying to find alternative routes there. Some of you are already joining us with your thoughts on this, and you're sharing what your experiences with us. Kofi Mensah in Teshi Nungwa says the Tema Teshi Beach Road is choked now. Please, can you tell those big men with V8s to also join the traffic jam? Let's share the pain together. And of course, I know that the IGP is doing a lot in this area, and I'm pretty sure that that will be checked ASAP with what is happening with everybody else in traffic. Nane Kwama says early this year, full size of wheat and butter bread was 12 cedis, and currently it stands at 17. And I ate bread in the morning, evening, and this loaf of bread takes maximum 3 days for you to buy another one. This one from Shem says, we were told it would take 4 years to rehabilitate the whole Tema motorway stretch last week. Aren't we in the year 2022 where technology is readily available? Great initiative, but the time frame is quite worrisome, taking into effect the flow of traffic on that stretch. He says, and the final one, before business joins me, George joins me with business. Even the contractor should have at least created access routes through Kanewu linking board Teman, so we can have alternatives. He says, listen, wherever you are tonight, if you're stuck in traffic, please let's hear from you. What has been your experience tonight? And did the traffic watch help yesterday? What about today? Let's hear from you. George Yaffe is here. We're business. George.
Hi, Evans. And coming up in business, Bank of Ghana releases $50 million through the auction market to aid fuel imports as consumers of petroleum products brace themselves for one of the biggest hike in prices from this Thursday. And employers outline conditions that should guide national daily minimum wage negotiations. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, and Allianz Live. You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the Bank of Ghana has released some $50 million to aid fuel imports. Now, the transaction was carried out through its dollar auction program for bulk oil distribution companies. But how would this impact prices of fuel products at the pumps, which is expected to witness one of its biggest jumps in recent times by this weekend? There is more in this report.
This is a special approach the Bank of Ghana has adopted to selling dollars separately to those firms that are in the business of importing finished petroleum products into the country. This after these firms argued that the lack of special dollar support through an auction program was affecting regular supply of fuel on the market and even managing the fuel price increases at the pumps in the country. Well, we may not call this auction as coming too late. This is because the price of petrol is expected to go up by almost 13% per litre from this Friday. But some industry watchers have argued prices might have gone higher than what we are expected to witness if it had not been this dollar supply from the Bank of Ghana. The development may help in the cedi stability as it will deal with the high demand for dollars. This is because the oil firms have been assured that in the next month or 7 weeks, their dollar needs will be met by the Bank of Ghana. The high demand for dollars by these bulk oil distribution firms has contributed to the cedi's perennial depreciation against the US dollar.
Well, that was a business desk report. Well, some update on fuel prices, which is expected to witness an increase from this Thursday. Now, prices of petroleum products may witness some significant jump at the pumps from this Thursday, June 16, 2020. Diesel is expected to go up by almost 11% per litre, while petrol, which is currently being sold at around 10 Ghana cedis, 10 pesos, will go up by 13% per litre. And this is what the oil marketing companies have been communicated to from the bulk oil distribution companies.
It's our firm expectation.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has charged the Development Bank to work fast to secure international recognition to aid its fundraising exercise. Now, this, he believes, will also complement the already capital that the bank has secured, which he describes as moderate. The minister was giving remarks at the opening of the operations of the National Development Bank.
It's our firm expectation DBG will manage its affairs prudently and that soon it will be able to go to the market, both domestic and international, to raise its own funds on the basis of its balance sheet. This therefore requires the board and management to work hard toward getting an international rating for the bank within the shortest possible time. It must be emphasized that the President's vision to transform the economy will be hinged on DBG doing a few things. So the charge, DBG, provision of long-term finance to the economic units operating in the productive sectors of the economy at competitive interest rates, providing funds and facilities with tenures over 5 years.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Now, some bank customers secured significant monetary compensation for last year. Now, this was after they turned to the Bank of Ghana over how they were handled by their respective institution. The Bank of Ghana data showed that 5.7 million Ghana cedis was paid separately to some customers, as well as $250,000 was also paid separately to some customers, and £20,000 was paid to another set of customers based on their complaints. Now, these compensations were paid by the institutions that the central bank found their customers to have had a case after an investigation. Now, this was captured in the 2022 report on complaints management function. The report showed that the Bank of Ghana recorded 857 complaints, representing 2.17% decline over that of 2020. Now, Chief Executive of the Private Enterprise Federation, Anose Bonsu, is asking government to target the informal sector if it really wants to deal with the rising unemployment in the country. He said this at the graphic Stambik Breakfast Series. We focused on job creation.
Between public sector, which is 6.2 of the employment pool in Ghana, you have private sector formal, 6.8 of GDP. The informal sector is 86%. So if you're doing any analysis to create jobs, Where are you going to look at? The informal sector. Encourage them, provide the resources, provide the competencies and capacities so they can create jobs. Nobody sets up a business to create jobs. They set up a business to make money. And by making money, they need more hands, they expand, the economy will grow, and more people will be employed.
Nana Bonsu is Chief Executive of the Private Enterprise Federation, speaking of the graphic Sambek Breakfast Series. And the Ghana Employers Association has maintained that the current economic conditions and ability to pay should guide minimum wage discussions. The various parties are set soon to start meeting, determine a new minimum national daily minimum wage for next year. The wage is currently pegged at around 13 Ghana cedis, 53 pesos. But there are fears that with threat from organized labor that it won't take anything below the inflation rate. Some are worried about the pressure that this will bring on government and business owners. Lex Frimpong is Chief Executive of the Ghana Employers Association.
All these factors are compounding to give us a signal that we need to tread cautiously in what we do. So these are very difficult times because we have a responsibility to ensure that businesses become sustainable so that workers can be in employment. And that is the challenge that we have, and that is the responsibility that we must be able to shoulder. Because if at the end of the day we make demands that will collapse businesses, then it means that employment for existing workers will be threatened, and potential employees may also not have the opportunity to work. So that is the responsibility we have. That is the challenge that we have. And I think times with that number, the committee has been able to rise to these challenges.
Alex Frimpong is Chief Executive of the Ghana Employers Association. Let's turn our attention to the stock market, and there wasn't any price change that could affect you if you are an investor on the market. But if you look at from January to date, your investment have gone down by a little over 8%. And that's all for business. On Newsnight, you're back to you, Evans, bracing yourself for that hike in transport fares and also in price of petroleum product, a double dose whammy. Maybe
you can't brace yourself. We just take it and hope you survive. That's what it is.
Interesting.
Yeah. Let's do sports now. And the Black Stars did well today. 9-man. I mean, there's some hope, right?
Yeah, they showed some resilience, something that the team had been lacking for a while now. While the Black Stars, as you rightly said, ended the Korean Cup in Japan on a positive note after beating Chile 3-1 on penalties to ensure that the team finishes third in the competition. The team also showed incredible fighting spirit after playing the final 15 minutes of the game with just 9 men after Lidu Seidu and Nubarak Wakaso were given their marching orders. Otoado, who's the head coach of the national team after the game against Chile, admitted that he has a lot of tough decisions to make, especially ahead of the World Cup in November.
This tournament was good for us, just to get some questions answered. You know, it's a lot of tough decisions to be made. I think overall we did well. Due to the circumstances, especially in the first match, we could see that we were tired. It was a long flight, and we had two matches before. So I think after Japan had the third goal, it broke us a little bit. But in general, I have to say I'm satisfied. It's I think we did well. You know, this makes it difficult for me to choose the players for the next window. This will be September. It will be the last window for the World Cup. But then the decision will be with me, and it's just details which we will decide which player will come or not.
And so the next international window for Otoado to prepare for the World Cup would be all the way in September.
Okay, thank you very much. By what time maybe we have many of the foreign-based players who are attempting to become Ghanaians or joining. We'll see. Thank you, Rick, for the update there. Let's move on now to the controversy surrounding the National Cathedral. And as you may well know, the Coalition of Muslim organization Ghana Komong had issued a strongly worded statement on Monday calling on the executive director of the National Cathedral, Dr. Paul Poku-Mensah, to retract and apologize for what they described as deliberate falsehood. Now, Dr. Poku-Mensah had said on a TV program that said the talking point that the state facilitated the construction of the National Mosque, Dr. Paul Opoku Mensah, issued an apology earlier today. Maxwell Awagba is joining me with details of that. Maxwell, so he apologized.
Yes, he did. He did. And he actually admitted in that letter that he's had conversations with the president of Komok, Hajj Abdul Manan Abdul Rahman. And he says that the word that he used was facilitation, but not state resources being used to fund the National Mosque project. He says, I retract and apologize for the use of state facilitation in my response and deeply regret the pain it might have caused the Komok and the Muslim Ummah in Ghana. In making this retraction and apology, I want to highlight what I said in the interview and repeated in my telephone conversation with Hajj Abdul Rahman. One, we should not equalize the discussion on the National Cathedral and the National Mosque as they are separate projects. Two, we should be very careful as a nation not to disrupt the unique, peaceful relations that exist between Muslims and Christians. He says the Chief Imam, His Eminence Sheikh Dr. Osman Nuhu Sharabutu, true among others, his inspiring personal support for the National Cathedral project continues to show us the way.
Okay, so in short, he's sorry
for
attempting to suggest that the state sponsored the building of the National Mosque. Well, the group that demanded a retraction and apology, Coalition of Muslim Organizations, they've been reacting to that apology. President Hajj Abdul Manan Abdul Rahman had this to say.
And again, because already the state, that shouldn't happen again, because already the state has more like cheated the Ummah, the Muslim community. And I have explained. And so if we keep having all these utterances coming from leading persons of this land, it is more like provocation. And we think that must stop. Whoever that comes with such a comment, we are going to reply the person, in the equal measure.
Have you been in touch, and as we're seeing in that statement, with the CEO for the project? He talked about the fact that he's spoken to you personally, he's explained a few facts to you and what it is that he's on record to have said. And would you say that he set out the records?
Yes. We spoke close to an hour, and we actually took our time to educate him. Unfortunately, he is not well informed, and I think that the position in which he is, he should be well informed before coming out to make comments like this. And that is our counseling, and which we did. We had a good conversation with him, and then we told him that, my brother, don't go there, because there was nothing like that, and which we requested and the state refused. Our own structure that the state pulled down, state never replaced that structure, and which he graciously agreed to withdraw and apologize, which we actually accept.
So that's a good precedent there on the subject of that apology. But he's also been raising issues with the National Cathedral. He says it will not unite this country, as being suggested as a reason for its construction.
Our position is that that project will not serve the interests of the Ghanaian public. It will seek to divide us as a people, and therefore the position still remains. It's very divisive.
What's divisive about a National Cathedral project?
In fact, from the beginning, we said that you cannot use the assets that belong to the good people of the Republic, millions of dollars, and give it to a section of the public. That is uncalled for. If you want to put up a structure like this, why should you go and pull down structures that worth millions of dollars?
Well, to Parliament now, where after several failed efforts by Parliament Privileges Committee to reach Dom Kwabenya MP Sarah Josafo to appear before it, the committee has decided, I'm talking about the Privileges Committee, has decided to place an invitation in the national dailies. Sarah Josafo and two other MPs, Kennedy Dupont and Henry Quartey, have been referred to the committee after it was established. They had been absent from the House for more than 15 consecutive days. According to the ranking member on the Privileges Committee, Ricky Hagan, who spoke to parliamentary correspondent Kweku Asante, the Dom Kwabenya MP will be offered another chance to appear before the committee despite all the previous invitations that has been extended to her.
As you remember, the last time, I think your guys, Joy FM, she had an interview with you. You were able to reach her, had an interview with you in that she was not aware that, she's been served. So upon hearing that news, we charged the clerk's office to make sure that we exhaust all possible avenues of trying to serve her. And today, as we met, we were told all the things that they have done, trying to even use the PA to see if we can be successful, through that end. And we also offer her an option because we found out that she's still actually in the United States, which is where she spoke to you from. And that if that is the case and she cannot appear in person, she can do it by Zoom. So that option was also offered to her. So we proceeded today, set up a Zoom system and all that as I was told, the numbers or the link was sent to her for her to come in. But again, sent to her through a third person. So we cannot actually tell whether she has received it or not. And I refer the committee to something that our standing order 2053. And on reading 2053, I realized that though we have done enough to reach her, we have not exhausted other things we could do. And that is stated here, and I will, for your viewers and listeners want to know. The 3 says that, and this is our standing orders, and 2053 says that the summons shall be served on the person mentioned therein by delivering to him, him or her, by delivering to him a copy thereof, or by leaving it at his usual place of abode with some adult person, or where this is not known, by publishing it in the press.
And we now know they're going to be publishing the invitation in the dailies, substituting the service. That's it for News 99. And just before I go, I want to share one more alternative for you if you're heading home and want to avoid the chaos and the traffic on the Accra-Tema motorway. Google Map is a very good help indeed. And one of our listeners used Google Maps, and it took him through Manette, Agblizan, Spinkters, Coastal Estates, and then to Community 20 through the boundary road to the motorway. And he says he stayed on the motorway traffic for only 13 minutes. So you can try that too. Just get Google Map and let him help you navigate around that traffic. Enjoy the rest of your evening.